Happy October. It's technically the 17th. Meant to get this out yesterday. I'll do my best. Right now, just in my life, my work schedule is pretty packed. I work a minimum of 5 days a week. Some weeks I work more like 6 days. There's been a once where I've worked 7 days a week. So I do, and that's not to say I can't even do videos the days I go to work. Or days I get home from work. It all just depends on the overall schedule of what I'm doing. So there will be weeks where I'll get all my videos out on time. There will be weeks where I don't, and obviously this was not one of those weeks where I could get them all on time. But I'm still at least doing the who would win. The who would wins among anything else on the channel are the ones I feel I am required to do based off my schedule, if nothing else. So, with that being said, Trickyborn Studios asked the question, because we're in Halloween, and Halloween is all not just about ghouls, ghosts, and goblins, but monsters. And I don't mean just like, I mean, let's go kaiju on this, mothers. We're going King Kong, the king of the jungle, versus Gamera, the protector of Earth, the giant flying turtle. Now, it's pretty easy to talk about King Kong. King Kong is a giant gorilla. Moving on. No. Yeah, when you break it down, and there's several iterations of King Kong too. I mean, there's the very original one who's pretty big, but not the biggest version of King Kong. There's like the 70s version. There's a couple different, like the one that fought Godzilla, which, if you want to get technical, we could make for feats. But let's be clear. Not only is that like nothing to do with canon. I mean, what I'm probably gonna do with this fight is separate each King Kong in this fight with Gamera. So I guess we could use that King Kong, theoretically speaking. And of course you have the King Kong from the 80s, who I barely remember that King Kong. And you had the King Kong from Peter Jackson, and the newest one from Skull Island, who is theoretically the biggest King Kong we have. Also the most capable in a fight. Yeah, no, he'd be the most capable in a fight. I mean, King Kong he has no real special abilities apart from massive strength, reasonable durability for an animal his size, and greater intelligence than most of the animals that live in the island with him. The capability of technically using his environment to his advantage, like, if there was that washed up ocean liner, he used the chain and the blade from the rudder to, do stuff. Or to, as a whip. Yeah, he's been defeated plenty of times. He's died, or at least he died in the first movie, or dies in most of his versions. So, I mean, it's King Kong. Not much to talk about. Gamera is a slightly different story. Now, Gamera's height and weight is a little varying depending on which version you're going with, but generally speaking, he's around 55 meters tall. And which roughly translates, I think, into somewhere in the neighborhood of close, like near to, like between 160 and 180, somewhere in that range. He's like around like 80 metric tons or something like that. Somewhere in that range. It all varies a bit. But he's the protector of the Earth. Now, he's fairly durable. His shell is, well, it's not nigh indestructible. It can take a beating. He was retconned a couple times, but generally speaking, his shell can take a lot of abuse. It can deflect missiles, tank fire, a lot of the blasts from his enemies. The underside of his shell, though, is vulnerable to attacks. Even weaker attacks can pierce the underside of his shell and, possibly kill him. He's got the strength of a turtle that big. He's also incredibly smart, able to put things together. Obviously, one of his trademarks abilities is he's able to fly, and I think he flies at like Mach 3 or something like that. He flies at like Mach speeds. He's able to tuck himself in his shell and spin. He's capable of breathing and eating fire, and absorbing mana from the earth to regenerate wounds. Like I said, fire-breathing turtle, which it's pretty much plasma, which is more or less what fire is, just a more concentrated fire. He can even burn underwater. He's capable of eating fire to regenerate his health. Durable enough to survive massive explosion, like a nuclear level or a atomic level explosion, but he was severely injured from that. He can put himself in a state of healing coma to, put his enemies off guard. He can regenerate after 30 years if he uses a sacrificial technique, so forth and so on. So forth and so on. That's pretty much the basis. Now, if we're gonna go Kong by Kong, I'll be honest, I can't say much for the '70 version or anything that came in between the the original version and the Peter Jackson version. So I can't say much for those guys. So with the original version, Gamera's going to completely wreck the original version. The original version was pretty dim-witted if you really look at him, and that was just because of the effects, I mean, which were fantastic for the time. Now it's come on, it's dated as hell. Just the it's like nah, you can't tell if he's intelligent or not. He comes off as a dope. He comes off stupid. Also, when you really break it down, size wise, he's big, but compared to I mean, let's say my hand is Kong. This Gamera would probably come up, or this Kong probably comes up to about here on Gamera. Now let's see, Gamera would be somewhere in the around the realm of about 160. So if my arm is Gamera, Kong looked to be, because Kong could hold a human, like a 5 foot, like 5'5" woman in his hand, and she could still be moving around there. If we were to use that basis as a size graph, Kong wasn't much bigger than like 50 feet. So there's your 50-foot Kong, let's say that. Gamera is not double, but more than triple his size. Yeah, Kong gets his ass kicked in that fight. I forgot. Okay, no, the King Kong versus Godzilla fight. Yeah, Kong gets his ass handed to him in that fight, plain and simple. Now, the King Kong that fought Godzilla is a completely different matter because, spoilers if you've never watched King Kong versus Godzilla, the original, Kong actually won that fight. Now, whether or not you agree with the fact that he won that fight is entirely up to you. I'm one of the people who does not agree with the fact that he won that fight. But you know what? It was Toei. I think it was Toei. They just wanted some fun and all that stuff. So yeah, whatever. But let's be fair. He beat Godzilla. He was also basically the same size as Godzilla, who is recorded as being far larger than Gamera is. He's well above Gamera's size range, which is one of the reasons, again, spoilers, he beat him in the death battle. He was just pure power over Gamera. And Kong beat him. Like, strength-wise, they were matched, but... And he could tank... Well, he could withstand Godzilla's atomic breath to a degree. So in theory, he should be able to at least kind of withstand the plasma breath or plasma abilities of, fire breathing of Gamera. But let's be clear about this. I mean, the atomic breath is not the same as plasma breath. I mean, that's pretty much, you're talking about the heat more or less of the sun being blown at you. Maybe even hotter at points. So I would say the plasma breath would still hurt King Kong. I mean, if they fought, Gamera would pretty much realize that he could not go after Kong in a straight physical confrontation. So they would probably duke it out for a little bit. Both of these characters are smart, and Gamera is often won by retreating. So he maybe retreat, uses flying abilities to outmaneuver, fireballs. Kong probably get hit by a couple throw rocks. Maybe one hits kind of wiggles him, but Gamera realizes, all right, I gotta bring him up. So grabs him, starts blasting him into space, and then throws him down. Basically, breaking breaking orbit, and then coming back down and cracking the atmosphere, and then burning him up in atmosphere. And unlike Godzilla, who's got scales and durability and all that stuff to survive something like that, the best Kong. Here's the thing. Whether or not you think Kong is durable enough to survive a gamma blast, a radioactive blast going head to toe with Godzilla, let's be clear. That Kong is still Kong, which means he died from a fall from the Empire State Building, which is nothing compared to tanking a meteor strike, which Godzilla did, or barely surviving a nuclear blast or a bomb explosive blast like Gamera did. Pretty much point blank on both guards. So durability-wise, Kong is screwed in this scenario. Well, once Gamera basically gets him in the air and just throws him down into the ground from God knows how high, Kong's done. Likewise, the Peter Jackson Kong was, I think, stated to be somewhere in like the 25 to 30 foot realm. So again, my hand for scale. Here's your 25 to 30 foot Kong. That would put Gamera somewhere around over 6 times his size. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you kind of see the problem here. So that Kong also gets screwed. Now, the Kong from Skull Island is the interesting one. Because that's the Kong that's going to eventually be fighting Godzilla when they do Godzilla versus King Kong again. And he's going to be fighting the new Godzilla, which is arguably one of the tougher Godzillas we've had. He's also probably the biggest Godzilla we've had. So, because he hasn't fought Godzilla yet, I can't really give him too much of an edge without knowing how he would handle Godzilla's radiation breath or just physically deal with Godzilla. We do know that this Kong can take a pretty good licking and keep ticking. He handled that skull crawler that was even bigger than him with relative. I mean, he was definitely a fight, but he certainly didn't struggle too much. He definitely had some problems, but he still won the fight. And he's also very resourceful, this Kong, compared to some of the other ones. If you notice, none of the other Kongs were really used tools or anything like that. This one actually, took a tree, used it as a freaking sword to use the chains of a boat. So let's say this fight with this Kong and this Gamera takes place on Skull Island, and it's in that same area. Got him and Gamera square off, and size-wise, I'm gonna probably say they are somewhere in the when did they say? I think they said Kong is somewhere in the 100-foot range or something like that. Something like that. So that would put let's say again. Here's Gamera. That would actually put Kong somewhere more like here. So he's not true. From the looks of what I've seen in Gamera, Kong would still be smaller, but not by a great deal. Kong would also probably be, in terms of actual fighting, like throwing punches, grappling, all that stuff. He would actually be the better in terms of that, just because of the way he is physically designed. He's got actual arms, thumbs, all that, and the intelligence of knowing how to kind of maybe take an opponent on like that, because he spent all his life surviving on Skull Island. So he's got the physical experience that comes with that. And so if he can keep Gamera on the ground and avoid any fire blasts, he could definitely start to give Gamera some trouble. Now, granted, he still got to get through the shell, and maybe some punching and stuff like that would definitely rattle his Gamera's ribcage, but he wouldn't. I don't think it would kill him, or he'd break through. However, if for some reason he got a hold of, let's say, the boat propeller and the chain effect again, throws it, maybe catches Gamera as he's trying to fly away, and just holds him here, and then just eventually pulls him down, grabs him, and just throws him down into the ground where he crashes, and then, has the boat propeller and just starts smashing, and eventually breaks into Gamera's shell and just starts smashing. Boom, boom, boom. And then, Gamera's, struggling, and maybe he goes into healing coma, but Kong's done this too. Where, he's... oh God, was it him who did it? Where he breaks a neck or something like that, like he broke the Rex's jaw, and just to be sure, does a finishing blow. I feel like Kong would also do that too. So if he starts pounding hard enough with a rock or whatever, and it ends up breaking his belly, and Gamera has to go into a state of hibernation, Kong's gonna be like, nope, and just it just snaps his neck and just breaks it, and maybe he says I'm gonna eat this turtle now, because this is Kong who has no problem eating meat. So now, what the likelihood of that scenario is? Would Kong be the majority victor in that bout when it's that Kong? I'll be honest, I don't think so. And the reason I don't think so is that in terms of durability overall, Gamera is still the tougher opponent from what we can gather. And Gamera, as far as we can tell, in Skull Island, Kong has never had to go up against anyone who had a fire-breathing ability or ability to breathe energy or anything like that. So I'm going to go with Gamera between all these fights. It's pretty much Gamera. The only one who really stands any close chance is probably Kong from the Skull Island, and because Gamera could figure out King Kong versus Godzilla Kong pretty easy. Yeah, Skull Island Kong's the only one I think has any sort of real chance, and even then, it's not a super chance. But I would be so willing to say about 35% for Kong, in that regard. All the other ones I think would just flat out lose. But this one I think, given the nature of him and given a scenario where he's got some tools to work with, I think there's a 35% chance for Kong. But unfortunately, that means Gamera's winning 65% of the time overall. So yeah, I'm gonna go Gamera long term, and the only Kong version of Kong that can win really any amount of the time would probably be the 2017 version, Skull Island version. But hey, let me know if you think different. If you do, that's cool. Put in the comments below. Let me know. I'll get to it. What am I doing? If you know, put in the comments. Just be cool about it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. If you have ideas for who would win, Star Wars, superhero, magic, anything I do on the channel, what ifs. Put that in the comments below. I'll get to that at some point. I'll be completely and utterly honest with you folks. I do want to see Only the Brave, but because when I do movies, I'm usually going with my buddy or two, Mark or the powers that be, and I like to make it. It's kind of like it's not truly a guy's night out, but it's kind of us chilling and hanging and relaxing. And just enjoying and just having some fun. Because of that, I'm probably not seeing a new movie this week, but I might still I might go see It or something like that, or American Made. I actually haven't seen American Made, so I know powers that be would like to see that. So maybe that's what I'll say, and I'll maybe have a review for that available. But yeah, other than if it's not, then yeah. I don't actually expect a review. However, there will be another Who Would Win tomorrow. There will be box office predictions. There will be... Ooh, I just realized. Box office prediction. Death Battle prediction. But because of Halloween, I wonder, are they possibly going to do a Halloween one after this? I know why they're probably doing Thor and Wonder Woman, because Thor Ragnarok's coming out in a couple weeks, and Wonder Woman was a big hit over the summer. I am curious... because I just watched Hellsing Ultimate Abridged, Ultimate Abridged episode 8, which hands down probably one of my favorite episodes of the series. And I'm just like wondering, oh, please tell me it's a Halloween episode with Alucard in there. I would kill for that. Anyway, but yeah, and Magic and What if I can get around to it. Yeah, like I said, right now for the current foreseeable future, schedule is busy, so if a video doesn't get out when it should, I apologize for that. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for sticking with me with my pandering. Later, folks.